Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It's Tuesday evening and the news today is food shortages in the UK. Now, sometime probably about a year ago, I had read how there were a number of UK greenhouse veg suppliers who were not switching on their greenhouses because of the cost of the energy. And as you know, since then, the energy has gone up quite a bit. So the domestic production of things like tomatoes, lettuces, cucumbers, etc., has gone down quite considerably. And now we have shops rationing purchases of peppers, cucumbers, lettuces, etc. And for me, it just makes it, how thankful am I started prepping when I did? How thankful am I that I got the dehydrator and dehydrated some peppers, onions, tomatoes, got tins of chopped tomatoes and things like that. Broccoli and cauliflower are seemingly going to be a bit of a problem because for some farmers, crops that had to be picked from the fields, they can't get the staff. So there's a lot of them have changed what they're producing, and they've planted things that can be machine harvested rather than things that need to be picked by hand. So I think this year there's going to be quite a change because apart from the domestic production of these things, there's also the problems with the weather for places. Seemingly we've been buying a lot of tomatoes from Morocco and they're having problems with transport, they're having problems with weather, etc. So I think this year the British shopping or supermarket shopping in the UK may change quite considerably, and what we're used to getting, we may not be able to get anymore. So for me, the first thing that means is this weekend, I am not here. I'm going away for the weekend. But while I'm away, I will be planning my garden. I'm going to take my gardening books with me. And I will have a plan of attack when I come back. I may actually plant some seeds. No, there's no point in planting seeds because there's nobody here to water them. But I will be having a plan of attack while I'm away at the weekend so that I can then start planting because, as I say, for things like lettuces, which are seemingly relatively easy to grow, thankfully, not so sure about tomatoes, but willing to give it a go. Things like that. Last year I bought one of the polythene greenhouses just at the end of the season. It's still in the box in the shed, so that will be getting brought out this year. So yeah, growing things, definitely a good plan because, excuse me, as I say, what we can get easily in the supermarkets has definitely changed over the last week, and seemingly it will be a few weeks before it gets back to normal, or they hope it gets back to normal. But reading in one of the papers the change in prices, things like your iceberg lettuce, your tomatoes, your cucumbers, a box of them from the wholesalers has doubled in price since this time last year. Your tomatoes were £7 a box, they're now £14 a box. Your icebergs were £8 a box, they're now £22. Things like that. So yeah, if you can possibly grow some of your own easy grow things, I would certainly say this is the time to do it. Because there's definitely going to be changes, I would say. There was also a report about the UK going to import Mexican beef, which, although high carbon, will seemingly be cheaper, which will mean that our domestic suppliers, it's not going to be worth their while. So yeah, definitely, I think we need to be looking at what we can produce ourselves, what we can grow in our own gardens, and looking at how we're going to have to change what we're eating if things are going to get restricted. So yeah, that's my thoughts for this evening. So I'm going to go and let the cat in, get a cup of tea, and I'll catch you later.